Rose never wanted to move back to the old house. After her parents died, she had left the small town behind, promising herself she would never return. But life had other plans. A bad breakup, financial struggles. She had no choice but to move into her late grandmother's abandoned mansion. The house was old and quiet, but it didn't feel empty. The moment she stepped inside, she felt something watching her. At first, she ignored it. She didn't believe in ghosts, but she should have. The first night she woke up freezing. The air in her bedroom was ice cold, her breath visible in the dim light. She reached for her blanket, but it was already covering her, neatly tucked around her, as if someone had done it for her. She frowned, sitting up. Strange. Then she felt it. A soft, invisible touch on her cheek. Her stomach twisted. She turned on the bedside lamp, scanning the empty room. No one was there, but she could feel it. A presence. Close. Too close. The next morning, Rose decided to clean the house. It had been empty for years, dust covering every surface. When she entered the master bedroom, she stopped. There, on the dusty mirror, were letters written with a finger. Rose! Her heart pounded. She grabbed a cloth and wiped the mirror clean, trying to shake the feeling of unease. But as she turned to leave, she heard it. A whisper. You're back. Determined to find answers, Rose searched the house. She found an old portrait in the attic, a painting of a young man with dark eyes and a sorrowful expression. Elijah Blackwell. The moment she said his name aloud, the temperature dropped. A shiver ran down her spine. It was him, the ghost in the house. Strange things continued. Books moved when she wasn't looking. The old record player would start playing a slow, haunting tune at night. But the scariest part, she wasn't afraid anymore. At night, when she felt the cold touch on her skin, she didn't pull away. When she heard his whispers in the dark, she listened. I've waited so long for you. Somehow, she knew he meant it. She didn't understand why, but she felt safe, like she belonged to him. Digging through town records, Rose uncovered Elijah's story. 100 years ago, Elijah Blackwell had been in love with a woman who looked exactly like her ancestor. But their love had been forbidden, and one night, his lover's jealous fiancée murdered Elijah, burying his body beneath the very house Rose now lived in. His spirit had never moved on, and now he had mistaken Rose for the woman he lost. That night, Elijah revealed himself. She woke up to see him standing by her bed, no longer just a shadow. He was tall, beautiful, ghostly pale, with dark eyes full of longing. You are mine, Rose. You have always been mine. His voice was soft, seductive. His cold fingers brushed her lips. She should have been afraid, but she wasn't. She wanted him. Let me in, he whispered. The moment she said yes, a rush of icy wind consumed her. For the first time, she felt his arms around her, his lips on her skin. A love that had been denied in life, now awakened in death. The next day, Rose met James. a man from town who had always admired her. They had coffee, laughed, and for a moment she felt normal again. But when she returned home, the house was different. The air was thick, heavy, wrong. Then she heard his voice, low, dangerous. "You let him touch you." The mirror shattered. The lights flickered. She felt an invisible hand grip her wrist, pulling her back. "You are mine." Elijah wasn't just in love with her. He was obsessed. Rose realized she had to make a choice. If she stayed, Elijah would never let her go. He would keep her forever, his love turning into something dangerous, something deadly. She stood by the fireplace, where she had felt his presence the strongest. With a heavy heart, she whispered, "Elijah, I love you, but you have to let me go." Silence, then a cold kiss against her lips, and a whisper, "Goodbye, my love." The room fell still. For the first time, he was gone. Weeks passed. The house was empty now. The whispers were gone. But sometimes, late at night, when the wind blew just right, she swore she could still feel his cold fingers brush her skin, one last touch from the ghost that loved her.